Are you tired of the old ways of trying to recruit friends and family to your MLM? Tactics just don't work anymore. Have you wanted to quit and say the heck with this, but something still gives you that burning desire to rock this business? All you needed was the way. This is Network Freaking Marketing Radio.
Guys, here's it is, the lost file that I did last year with Tracy Gibbs. Enjoy it in its full entirety without interruption.
Good. It's having a good day?
Doing great.
Great. I appreciate you taking a couple minutes out of your time and talking with us a little bit about really where this thing's going with liposomal technology. It is incredible. You know, ever since we got back from Vegas, we've just been inundated with so many new questions that wanted to go right to the source and kind of figure out, you know, just make sure we're saying everything correctly and understanding where this is going.
Okay. Well, let's get started.
Yeah, let's roll it quick because I know you're a busy guy. You know, we have a fleet of products across the board, and a lot of people are asking me, and your idea, if you were going to prescribe or say to someone the three core products to take, what do you think they should be?
Well, I am a firm believer of the root of all diseases tends to be in malnutrition or toxemia. And I've seen it time and time again that if you give a person the right nutrients, the right amount of time to rest and recover, that you can pretty much heal anything that way. And so starting right off the bat, I tell everyone you need to be on Core Complete. That's our whole food nutrient supplement that contains all the vitamins and minerals and trace minerals and phytonutrients, enzymes, probiotics, all the omegas are in there, omega 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, all there. So get them on Core Complete because that product alone might be a lifesaver for people. And then I look at Detox because it's our detoxification aid. And then if they're over 30 years old or older, man, I get them on Renew. Those are like the three core products that I say everyone should start with. And then if you've got special needs above and beyond that, then look at some of our other products.
Because, you know, we've been having an amazing response with people just taking Eternal right out of the gate and seeing, you know, life-changing events. And it's really something. You take it for a couple days and you're seeing a big difference in the eyes, the face. I mean, you know, you hear the stories. Do you think that is a good fit for anyone across the board?
Well, Eternal was formulated as an anti-aging product. So I would say if you're 35 or older, Eternal is a great fit for people, especially people 45 and older. That should be like a core staple. But again, look at your specific need. If you're 35, 36 years old and you look in the mirror and you start seeing a gray hair on your eyebrow or, you know, on the side where they start to show up here, hey, maybe you better start taking Eternal because that's a sign that your body's production of glutathione has started to deplete, you know.
That's funny. My wife literally the other day said, "You have your first gray hair." And I'm like, I'm only 40. Give me a break, please. You know, it's kind of funny the way it goes.
I think you've got good genes in because most people, I think you get your first gray hair probably in your 30s. You start seeing a lot of them in your 40s.
Now, you know, I have had a lot of people that look at the product line and they have questions in regards to Core V Slim and V3. Are they all, let's just summarize it. Is the whole product line non-GMO across the board, everything in our products?
Yes, I believe everything in our products is non-GMO. That's part of our criteria for sourcing. Whether it's certified organic or not is a different story because we source from wonderful countries like Thailand and Brazil and the European Union. Actually, one of our patented ingredients comes from the EU. And organic certification is the USRDA, or excuse me, the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And if it's not a U.S. product, we don't worry about that. We have our own testing parameters, but non-GMO is one of those.
Do you think the testing parameters with Vasayo far exceed what the USDA requires?
Oh, heck yes. I mean, there are several ingredients that are considered organic by the U.S. Department of Agriculture that are not allowed in Japan, for example, where we ship products to, or Hong Kong. So we have to kind of look at the world's import requirements, especially Canada. Canada is pretty strict, believe it or not. especially with this trade war going on.
Yeah.
We've got to meet some pretty heavy-duty requirements for these countries that exceed, just what U.S. Department of Agriculture organic certification tests for.
Because I had a bunch of questions I asked my team, like stuff that they would want to know to bring out and really ask. And one thing that came up from a couple of the ladies was with V Slim and V3, we went with real sugar instead of stevia. And they were wondering what the reason was behind that.
Well, because it's real. For one thing, I mean, I really, for 10 or 15 years, I've been telling people, you watch, these artificial sweeteners, they're going to cause disease. The FDA says they're safe, and that right there tells me it's going to cause disease. I shouldn't badmouth the FDA, but there are some things that they say are safe that we end up finding years later are not safe. Like some of our prescription drugs that are out there killing people. But I knew aspartame just from its manufacturing process and how it was derived that it was going to cause problems. Sucralose, the same thing. And just last month, I posted on the Vasayo Science Facebook page a thing that said, I told you so. And it had a study from the NIH showing how artificial sweeteners are the cause of 6 or 7 different types of cancers right now. I know they're a major cause of diabetes. Believe it or not, artificial sweeteners actually propagate diabetes, not reduce its effect. Because of the sweetness receptors on your tongue. When you hit that sweet mode, your body starts producing insulin. But then when you get no carbs for the insulin to process, you get those spikes and quick drop valley, which those spikes and valleys as a hormone, that's what causes insulin receptor sites to become non-responsive to insulin, which type 2 diabetes is insulin desensitivity. So anyway, we use natural sugars because I think they're good for you. Humans have been using them for thousands of years with no problems. And we use tiny, tiny amounts. I mean, we got 1 gram of fructose and like half a gram of honey and half a gram of natural cane sugar. So like literally we have 3 grams net carb in the V-Slim when an apple has 22 grams net carb. So, I mean, literally one of those packets is like, you could eat 10 packets before you get the same amount of sugar that you get in an apple.
Now, you were talking about diabetes. Another question one of the ladies asked me was maltodextrin. I don't know what it is, how it is, or, I'm not a science guy. I bring on people that help people understand more. And they were asking with V-Slim, it's been known for that I was told with diabetes, it can raise the heart rate or something like that. Is V-Slim okay for someone with a diabetes to take?
Yeah, totally. The studies they're referring to are like 25 to 30 grams. I believe one of the studies out of Germany was 30 grams a day of maltodextrin can cause metabolic syndrome, which, it's a carbohydrate, so your body has trouble processing it for that. I don't know about raising heart rate. I don't remember reading any study about that. But maltodextrin is a carbohydrate. We have literally, again, I don't want to give away the formula, but it's a small percentage of 1 gram. So way less than 1 gram of maltodextrin in there. When I'm talking 30 or 40 grams a day would be harmful. We don't even have 1 gram. So
it's some of the stuff you hear and it's like, I don't know, I'm not a scientist. I'm just, just a guy in the street like everybody else. And when we talk about our core product line, now is core a liposomal product or is it a advanced delivery product?
So Core uses an advanced delivery technology that is not liposomal because it's a food. It's food. So we use an enzyme delivery technology for that. So we break down the nutrients, the food nutrients, faster so that your body can assimilate it better. Liposomes are for phytochemicals, like extracts. If I'm using a whole food product, I can't encapsulate a zucchini into a liposome. I can't encapsulate green tea leaf into a liposome. But I can do like curcumin or resveratrol or some food extract. Because we don't use isolates in Core Complete, liposomal technology wouldn't work with that product. So we used a different type of delivery technology.
Now, can liposomes only be in a liquid format or can you actually make them into a capsule or whatever?
Nobody today has the technology to produce a liposome in a powder format, except one company. We actually purchased a couple of our raw materials from that company, Idina Corporation, out of Spain. I think it's Barcelona, Spain, where they're out of. They own, a worldwide patent.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, just cut us both off.
Yeah, it just froze completely. Did you get the question I even asked you or not? I don't think, no.
I don't think so. What was it?
So I was going to ask you, some people were watching some of the older videos when we first started Vasayo, and Emmett Blair was in it. Is he still involved with the company at all or not?
No.
Okay, I didn't know if he's out of the picture, so I was just kind of curious what was going on there. So we understand now where we're going with liposome technology and with the new CBD oil. You said in Las Vegas that it complements everything else you're doing. Can you elaborate and just kind of make it like to a layman's term to where we understand if you're taking CBD, what is that doing to the body? Because I mean, I've been taking it now since Vegas. We bought a couple bottles and creams and stuff, and I'm amazed at just how more focused and just calmed down I am personally. But I'm just curious how everything else fires there. So we'll turn it over to you there.
Having it complement everything else we're doing, if I did say that, might have been a slight exaggeration, because you really can't say it does everything. But, there are about 65 different systems in the body that are affected by the endocannabinoid system. And that's a lot of systems. Your reproductive system, your central nervous system, your elimination system, your mucoskeletal system, pain receptor sites in the body, your immune system, how T cells and B cells are produced and regulated by the thymus. These are all systems that are covered by or incorporate the endocannabinoid system for cellular communication. So if you are lacking in some area in the body, let's just give an example. Let's say the thymus is not producing enough antigens or whatnot, or training the T cells effectively enough because of a communication misfire between neuroreceptor sites or anything like that. CBD might help bridge those miscommunication channels and assist your body in producing healthy T cells that are fighting the right things instead of fighting things they shouldn't be fighting, maybe. So, and that's just one example of a clinical study I read here 3 or 4 weeks ago. The best thing I could tell you to do is Google CBD benefits of, and you'll see thousands of things. You'll get enough. So, I mean, it does help in a lot of systems. There's enough evidence out there to say, hey, take it. Why not? You don't know where it'll help you. You might feel different. You might not, but it doesn't hurt to try it.
Now, when they say from plant to package, we're the field going. I mean, it's us, right?
Yeah, so we cover all aspects of quality control from plant to package. That's what we mean. It doesn't mean we own the field and we're growing our own hemp and we have our own production facility. It doesn't mean that. It means that from plant to package, we monitor and control what we're producing, get the certificates of analysis all along the way, follow CGMP guidelines in an NSF audited facility. So we control the process from plant to package.
Has there been any studies that you know of, like, to where you will actually plateau on a CBD, or your body will get to a point to where you have to take more? Or is there any known information about that?
Now with THC, the psychoactive drug, there are studies that do that you can develop, I guess you don't want to call it an immunity because it's not something you need to become immune to, but is resistance to, and you do need to increase your dosing. For example, pain. If you're taking THC for pain, just like any other pain medication, it can become addictive and you might have to increase your dose. But with CBD, no, this is not the case. CBD is simply a missing nutrient that your body might need. So if your body has plenty of CBD, like, I don't know, there are trace amounts of CBD in lots of plants. So if you're eating broccoli and Brussels sprouts and other plants that might contain trace amounts of CBD, you might not be deficient in CBD. You might not have any of these misfires in neurocommunication that I was talking about, and you might be totally fine. So when you take a CBD, you don't feel anything. It's kind of that way for me. When I take CBD, I don't feel anything really. my question is, I don't know what's going on in my body or what's wrong, so I kind of take it just in case. But, you know, I think of it as a nutrient. It's a missing nutrient. Some people are lacking in it, and CBD can really help them. Some people aren't lacking, and you may not feel anything.
You know, this was a question I had. If you're taking CBD in the oil form, we came out with a topical as well. Wouldn't it internally automatically work, or is the topical needed for the muscle structure? I was curious why we came out with two different products.
So this is where compound medicine comes into play. I would never, ever give you just a single isolated product. That's not me. That's not what I do. That's not what a pharmacognosist is about. We're about compounding and how we can combine one ingredient with another ingredient and compound it into an 8 times benefit instead of just double or something. So if you look at the first few ingredients in our cream, you know, just take a look at the first active, which is the white willow bark. That's salicylic acid. That's aspirin, okay? That's where aspirin comes from. Then you look at the eucalyptus and the peppermint we've got in there to enhance blood flow, the capsicum in there to increase heat, and then the CBD to alleviate pain. That's an amazing product, and it's for topical, direct-to-contact use areas. Like I've got a little rotator cuff injury. I rub the cream on there at night before I go to bed. You know, it helps me sleep better. I can sleep on my side and not have the major pain that I get if I slept on that side normally. The CBD oil that we take on an oral also has some compounding effects with the botanicals that we put into it to help with those internal miscommunications or neurons not firing properly that we've talked about previously. So 2 very different products for 2 very different uses. If you've got pain, I wouldn't use the internal one. Well, maybe I'd use the internal one, but I'd combine it definitely with the cream. If I didn't have pain, if I just had anxiety or needed to de-stress or something, I would take just the CBD droppers. If I wanted to sleep better, I'd take our sleep product with the drop of CBD, you know, things like that. So that's how I use it. Use common sense. Our CBD does not replace our sleep product. It doesn't replace Renew, which is an amazing anti-inflammatory. So that, you know, even myself, I take our Renew at bedtime with the CBD cream on before I go to sleep. That's how I use the product.
You know, even personally, I can tell you, it's amazing how much better sleep you get just you and that 2 combination. About a week ago, I signed up a new brand partner, and she's elderly, and she has, you know, I walk into the house and talking to her, and she literally had probably 13, 14 different bottles of different manufacturers of everything from glutathione to all the stuff she was taking. And I'm talking to her, I'm like, how do you know what's going on with each other? And I was like, one of the benefits of our company is that everything's formulated to work together across the board. Yeah, I wanted you to kind of elaborate on that, on how everything talks to each other, and like from a chemist standpoint, what do you look at when you're doing this stuff?
So yeah, as I formulate products, especially in different categories, there are different systems in your body that can simultaneously be helped by either a single nutrient or combined with another nutrient. And in a product lineup, it can be the same thing. For example, I spoke earlier on part 1 of this section about Core Complete, how it's pure nutrition. And if you have the right nutrients, the body can heal itself from many different things. You know, there may be people who are just simply lacking theanine or something, and therefore they're not getting a good night's sleep. So when they take Core Complete, they might get a great night's sleep on it, and they might not need our sleep product. But there may be other people who, for example, have inflammation areas in their body, and then the nutrients may help with blood flow and reducing inflammation. They might need the curcumin and the resveratrol found in our Renew to help them sleep better. Your body can produce a ton of antioxidants on its own when you nutritionally feed it, but it's nothing like combining Core with Eternal, where you get those antioxidants directly into your bloodstream. So I look at, when we combine our products, I look at it as compounding as well. Core Complete is the foundation, but if you need extra anti-aging benefits, take Core Complete with Eternal. If you need extra anti-inflammatories, take Core Complete with Renew. If you need extra help sleeping, Core Complete with Sleep. If you are overweight at the same time, core complete with sleep and V3 and Detox. You know, again, you can totally take them together to help achieve your goals, whatever they might be.
It's interesting, you know, the dosing factors too, because a lot of people ask me, you know, they look at the dosing package on the back of the new CBD product and they're like, it's kind of misleading, kind of, you know, trying to understand which way to take. Is it really kind of set up to where with like Renew, Core Complete, Core is a course on its own, Renew, Sleep, and CBD1, is that, should we follow that format, or do you think people should adjust to their levels a little bit?
You mean as far as dosing adjust? No, follow the recommended dosage on the packet, and you could even increase that if you want. That's like the recommended minimum dose. But if I had, for example, a sports injury, you know, just this last weekend I went snowboarding with my sister, and I was a little bit stiff the next day. You know, we ride pretty hard, and I had a couple of good falls because it's been a while since I've ridden, and, you know, you try to do things that you knew you could do a few years ago. And I was doubling and tripling the dose of my Renew. I even took a couple of packets of Eternal, which I don't do regularly. I should probably take Eternal every night, but I don't. But I took a couple of packets of Eternal just to help my body recover. And amazingly, literally, by Sunday evening and then Monday morning the next day, I was feeling fine. Normally, if I play a real hard game of basketball or do a day of snowboarding, I'm 3 or 4 days stiff. Really? So doubling and tripling the dose can help too. So I would say use the recommended dose on the bottle as a minimum. And then if you've got extra needs, then triple, quadruple that dose, whatever you feel you need until you're getting the results you want.
It can't hurt you is the thing that's beautiful about it, right?
No, it's like if your grandma bakes cookies and you have one cookie because she tells you can only have one, is it going to hurt you to sneak 2 or 3 more other than grandma getting mad? No, it's food, guys. You can have more if you want, more until you get the desired effect that you want. You really can't, and again, I have read studies on herb drug contraindications and herbal overdosing and things like that. And even now, to this date, I don't know of one case where somebody overdosed on an herbal supplement and died. Never seen it. I have not seen it in my 25-year history.
I mean, that's a bold statement. I was literally arguing with someone the other day about that. And it's like, it's not going to hurt you. It's going to help you. Now, back to, I don't know what's going on today.
Ryan, I don't know.
Who
Whatever.
knows? You know, we try to use technology. You know, I had just 2 other questions for you that I wanted to roll through. We'll wrap this up soon. So one of my favorite products that we have is Neuro. My son is 8 years old, has had ADHD, was on Schedule 2 class drugs for a while. We took him off second month of school, and we started putting them on Neuro. And the effects are not as good as but he's not on something that's doping him out. And it's like, you know, you can tell your kid's like a space cadet.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to know is, 8 years old, do you think 1 per day is the right, or do you think it should be 1 in the morning and maybe 1 at lunchtime? Because we've been kind of debating what's the right mix right there. And then do you think it would help to mix the CBD in with the Neuro daily? Well,
and again, I'm not a medical doctor, so I can't tell you what to do. But what I can tell you is that you are the primary caregiver for that child. And then secondary is his physician. You're with him 24/7. The physician is with him maybe, 10 minutes every other month as you're taking him in for a checkup or whatnot. But either way, that's the way it goes. So if it were me and my child, I would experiment. I know what's in Neuro. I understand that you can't overdose on it. I know that they're just food ingredients. And so I would give my child 2 in the morning and then maybe 1 in the afternoon. Combine it with CBD if you want, things like that. And if, I'd start low and kind of build my way up to 3 or 4. I've given 4 Neuro to my 18-year-old before. So I know it's safe for an 18-year-old. But again, these are just my experiences. What you do and what you choose to do is up to you. If he is on a medication, of course, consult your physician. If he's not on a medication, you're the primary caregiver. So
yeah, he's off of them now. I mean, that's just life-changing for me to see my kid not on that stuff and being on all natural. Somebody just asked you on the screen, is CBD1 good for autism?
Again, I can't answer specific questions regarding specific diseases. Autism is something that they have been studying with CBD. your best resource would be to Google CBD and autism and see what studies are out there. If you think that they read positive and can benefit you or your child, then 100% try CBD1, see how it works for you.
Last question. Are you planning any clinical trials with any of our product lines?
Yes, we are. We actually have one that we've already kind of been working on. We're doing the write-ups and the protocols and everything for now, which is an opiate reduction study using our Renew and post-rotator cuff surgery to see if we can reduce the amount of opiates that surgical patients take after a rotator cuff surgery. We're also working right now with the school for a psychological study. It most likely will be on either our sleep or our neuro, but they have an IRB available for us. We just need to decide what we want to do and write the protocols, and they're going to do a study for us.
How long do those clinicals take? Is it a year-long, couple-year-long process, or what's the average?
It depends on what you're testing for and the parameters and the study group size, et cetera, et cetera. I think we're looking to do about 200 patients on the Renew study, so it'll probably be a 1 year or 2 year long study. On the psychological study, we don't know with that one because we don't know exactly what we're going to be studying. But let's say it is a sleep study. We could whip something like that out in 6 months.
Wow.
If it's an ADHD study or something like that with neuro, we might do a little longer one. It just depends on what we're going to do. But clinical studies take a long time to get the applications in, write the protocols, get the doctors involved in it. And then even after the study time is done, there's compilation of the results and then publishing of the results, which might take up to a year or two. They take time.
Wow, very interesting. I appreciate you taking your time. One last one for you. Any hints on anything coming out in June?
No and no. So the hint is no hints. I'm not aware. We're working on things, but whether we launch it in June or not, that's up to Dallin and Daniel and Dan and Carrie. The owners decide what we launch and when. My job is just to work on stuff and give them cool stuff. So I'll let them decide what we're going to launch, if we're going to launch anything. But we are working on a few things right now.
It's a really exciting time at Vasayo. And, I want to thank you for taking out of your time and, the 30 minutes you gave me. And, keep up the great work, buddy.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot. You take care.
Thanks a lot. You too, buddy.
Bye.
Hey guys, it's Ryan here, and I want to thank you for listening to Network Freaking Marketing Radio. If you like what we're doing, head over to iTunes and give us a like. Also, if you'd like to get our 5-day master pack, head over to networkfreakingmarketing.com.